R&R Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Originally constructed in 1996, Las Vegas Motor Speedway held its first major event in September of that year, an IndyCar race won by Richie Hurd. The first NASCAR event, a Craftsman Truck Series race, followed 2 months later. The Xfinity Series paid a visit in 1997 before the Cup Series arrived in 1998, marking the beginning of the track's long-term success. Changes to the oval in 2006 made it a more competitive venue for stock cars. This major renovation revamped the banking, upping it from a modest 12 degrees to 20. Not only that, but the corners were banked progressively, meaning the further up the racing surface, the steeper the banking. Lap times got quicker, racing got more competitive, with the current track record held by Kurt Busch at just over 196 miles per hour. Tonight, it's race number 15 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway for round 15 of the IROC Challenge Series. Race details for tonight: 120 laps, the race distance, stage break coming at the conclusion of lap 30. 81-degree ambient temperature, 56% humidity, partly cloudy skies, just a little bit of breeze, 2 miles per hour. Track temp 105 degrees and cooling. Practice qualifying in the books. Final warm-up session underway here at the Speedway. Let's go trackside to see where everyone's shaking out. Not so good for Neil Quick with the front end missing off that machine. Again, not as big of a deal. It's a warm-up and don't need to worry about actual backup cars. Brian McCann fastest thus far. Brandon Mefford fourth on the timing, 30.04. Same lap time as Mike Cook. Might have been just a hair slower. McCann and Smith, 1 and 2, 29.95 to Smith's 29.98. Cook quick 14th on the board here in warm-up. Not sure how many guys are going to take that apron here during the race. Get the car down on the flat. It's going to wear the tires out a little bit more than staying up on the banking. 25 seconds remain in the session before we'll see the black and red flags. And then we'll get right into the grid for tonight's race. 65% maximum fuel tonight. 2 sets of tires available over the wall, so 3 total. Still going to have to manage tires, still going to have to manage fuel. Clock strikes 0. So, field getting lined up here on the starting grid, so I guess that means it's time to go through our starting grid here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 29.868 seconds. It's the 70 of Aaron Smith. Outside front row, missed it by 30 thousandths. It's the 4 of Jaden Hopp. Row number 2, in the 3rd spot, it's the number 3 of Brian McCann, flanked by the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Starting 5th, William Tyndall. 6th starter goes the Jason Nilgis. 7th is Neil Quick. 8th starter is going to be Cook Quick. Rick Kelly with Chaos Motorsports. The number 31 will roll from the 9th position. Starting 10th is Chris Wally in the number 51. 11th goes to Josh Braley in the 28. Trevor Quick in the 5. He'll start 12th. 13th starter here tonight. There we go. John Osborne in the 44. Jeff Noe in the 55 will start 14th. Josh Funkhauser in the 81 machine will start 15th. Mike McDonald 16th. Mike Cook 17th. And last on the grid, relatively short field here tonight, 18th starter is going to be the 22 of Matt Kopp. It's your starting grid from Las Vegas Motor Speedway as the field begins to pull away. Once again, race distance here tonight, 120 laps. Stage break coming at lap 30. Again, 65% fuel load and 2 sets of tires over the wall. About a half a lap away from seeing the green flag here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Aaron Smith been on a tear all season long. Green flag is in the air. Field coming up to speed. Lap 1 in the books. Aaron Smith To no one's surprise, he leads it from pole position, and already driver saving fuel, lifting and coasting into the corners. You hear it get nice and quiet until about the apex of the corner. Fighting here mid-pack. Rick Kelly running in the 8th spot, just ahead of Neil Quick and Josh Braley. Braley to the inside of the 2. Braley shuts the door on John Osborne. Chris Wally in behind, as is the 5 of Trevor Quick. Back into the top 10. Cook Quick trying to track down Jason Nilges here. Nilges starting in the 6th spot, currently running in the 6th spot. We'll see if he's got any defense here for Cook Quick. Doesn't look like it, just lets him go. Cook Quick going around on the high side. Nilges taking care of his stuff, his fuel, his tires, the whole 9 yards. Let's hope he's not too aggressive in that save. Business picking up here in the front of the field. The battle for the 2nd spot. William Tyndall goes to the inside on the 4 of Jaden Hopp. Put lap 6 up on the board as Aaron Smith continues to lead. 4/10 the advantage now over the 62. As Brian McCann takes the spot from Jaden Hopp as well. Brandon Mefford still in the 5th spot, in behind these 3-4 drivers. You know everybody's really saving here when you can hear it, even from this camera perspective. The driver's lifting out of the throttle, putting the clutch in, letting that car essentially idle and coast through the corner. We're right on board here. I think Aaron Smith's losing the lead here to Tyndall. Aaron's certainly aggressively saving. Tyndall maybe not. I don't know if Tyndall just checked up there significantly. What happened there with the 62 as he went from just about taking the lead away to 3rd, now 4th. Might be some aggressive saving. Let's ride on board now with the 62 instead. See what he's doing behind the wheel of that machine as far as fuel save goes. Frankly, I don't think Tyndall's even going wide open throttle, at least here on the front stretch. Gained a lot of ground on Brandon Mefford there unexpectedly in the middle of 1 and 2. Had to get off the throttle, get off the clutch, jump on the brakes. And you hear it right there. We talked about it last week. Tyndall just barely lifting out of the throttle in the middle of the corner this time. Just a different method. Not coming all the way off the gas, just a little bit, gently. So here down into 1 and 2, he's lifting all the way. He's got the clutch pushed in, running 2,000 RPM. Lets the clutch back out, 78, 8,000, 82, 84, 85, and rising. Let's see what he does here in 3 and 4 this time. Full lift and coast. It's back out front. Brian McCann is taking the top spot from Aaron Smith. McCann fresh off a win last night at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Noble Racing Series. like listening to hybrids out here. Yeah, motor, and all of a sudden nothing. 12 laps in here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Brian McCann leads it 0.3 of a second over Aaron Smith. Top 5 relatively settled. Further back, Josh Braley running in the 6th spot. John Osborne in behind him. Cook quick back in 8th. Some breathing room between himself and Osborne. Battle now for the 9th spot. Mike Cook has taken it from Rick Kelly. Kelly's going to tuck back in behind. I think that's just the difference in strategies right now, as the 00 may not be in as aggressive a fuel save mode as the 31 of Rick Kelly is. Watch the fight, Jason Nilgis and Neil Quick. Both drivers have lost about 5 spots since the drop of the green flag. Neil Quick might be in trouble of losing another here with Josh Funkhauser knocking on the back door, about 2-3 car lengths behind the two. Chris Wally in the 51, just now ahead of the 16 of Mike McDonald. Wally's lost 5 positions as well after his 10th place starting position. Loses another one here, slips back to the 16th spot. Just got to wonder, really, where is everybody here as far as fuel save is concerned? How aggressive are these drivers being? Quick still back in the 13th spot. Did lose that spot to Josh Funkhauser. Funkhauser, number 81, starting to march towards the front here, up 3 spots. Big mover so far, though, is the 00 of Mike Cook. If I had to wager, we're going to see him make pit road before anybody else if we stay green. Now he's starting to save as you hear him lift out of the throttle. Now just losing another spot here. Funkhauser going around the 88 machine. Move Josh into the 11th spot. Now 1 more to go before he can crack the top 10. Got our usual suspects here in the stream chat tonight. Jerry Krause, Lindsay MW. Thanks for jumping in tonight again, guys. Back out front, Brian McCann still with the race lead, but Aaron Smith, even with fuel savings going on, starting to close the gap once again. It's just under 2/10. Out of turn number 2, down the backstretch, Aaron Smith's going to take advantage of a little bit of a slipstream here. That's going to help the 70 save fuel as well, with Brian McCann leading this race, being out in front. First race car to break the plane of air in front of the rest of the field. Granted, we're all spread out here, but it does affect the trailing car if you're close enough. 2, 3, 4 car lengths. It will change the characteristics of the handling of the race car, but will also provide a bit of a vacuum for that driver to race in and save a little bit of fuel. McCann still maintaining that position, about 3, 4 car lengths ahead of the 70 of Aaron Smith. Just about 10 laps shy of the stage break. I think you're going to see the 70 of Aaron Smith start to push here in the next 7 laps or so, maybe 8. He's going to make a push here to win that stage. Not that he really needs to, but there's no shutting this guy down. He wants to be first no matter when it is. Doesn't matter if it's a stage win, practice, qualifying, obviously the race. Aaron Smith with 10 wins on the season already. Neil Quick starting to reel in the 88 of Jason Nile just once again. This would be for the 12th spot. I know Neil would like to get up into that top 10, maybe score some stage points. Nile is up the racetrack. Neil Quick to the bottom here. He's going to take the position away relatively uncontested. Again, these guys are not going to be super aggressive in attacking for a spot or defending to maintain it. Starting to think you're going to see a lot of drivers opting not to take tires on this initial caution that we're going to get here in about 7 laps to end the stage. Now, they could all make me a liar, and every one of them could bolt on a set of 4 tires. But again, they've only got 2 sets over the wall. Really need to plan for about 40 laps a set. And that's if you're not going to save a set of tires for late in the race on that off chance we get a late caution. Again, this series certainly not known for yellow flags. A lot of fast drivers, a lot of clean drivers out here, so cautions are certainly not abundant. So there's certainly some options when it comes to pit road here in the next 6 laps. While Brian McCann and Aaron Smith just disappearing from the rest of this field. They've got a 7.5 second gap back to the 83 of Brandon Mefford and really everybody else for that matter. Last lap, 32 seconds was the time for Brian McCann. And you look down at the timing tower after just 25 laps, the 55 of Jeff Noe, already 28.25 seconds behind. Not sure they're going to catch him in the next 5 laps, but he is in danger of losing a lap if things do not go well. Trying to catch some battles out here on the racetrack. It just seems like everybody's singled out, single file, spread out. And nobody really pushing the issue. The closest drivers on the racetrack right now, 1 and 2, Brian McCann and Aaron Smith. Again, winding down to wrap up this first stage here. It should end the completion of lap 30. Laps to go to end the stage. McCann enjoying still a 0.3 seconds advantage over Aaron Smith. We've seen this a bunch throughout the season, whether it's Aaron Smith or Brian McCann. I've seen it the most with the 70. So he may have the pace to catch the race leader and put the pressure on, get tucked right underneath the back bumper of that lead car, but he's choosing not to do so. It's easier to drive the car when you've got front end downforce. You get too close, it goes away. Here we are, the lap 29 coming to a close here in this first stage. Aaron Smith closing the gap slightly, cuts about 0.5 tenth off of that time, closes back into a 1/10 and a half, 1/10 3/4, maybe a 2 full tenther. Again, like we said, Aaron Smith not in a position where he really needs to win the stage, but I'm sure he wants to. Lap 30 up on the board. Chris Wally and Jeff Noe, the two cars ahead of the race leaders here as we get to the end of this lap. They were at great risk of losing a lap here, but as they cross the stripe, the caution should come out. These drivers should maintain their position on the lead lap. Noe and Wally now side by side. That's going to make it difficult for the leaders to get on by and pass. The caution is yet to come out. Lap 31. Leaders have started to slow here, but still no caution. They've got a pretty significant lead on the rest of the field here, and there is the yellow finally. A little bit late,
Get a look at your temps to make sure everything looks
but
okay.
nonetheless, the leaders knew it. They both checked up to make sure they didn't lap those guys, give them a fighting chance here. Again, they were at the back of the field here in danger of losing that lap, but good sportsmanship by the 3 and the 70 to let them go. Brian McCann, your stage winner here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Looks like the pits are going to remain closed. Now they're going to open this time. Leaders come down here, as does the rest of the field. I can imagine they're all going to hit pit road here. Chris Wally came, I think, a little bit early to pit lane. And he was in a situation where he was in danger of going a lap down at the end of that stage. The leaders let them all go. Brian McCann's going to be fuel only. Aaron Smith in the number 70. He is going to be fuel only. Looks like Brian McCann might have beat him out, though. Looks like he does. McCann with an 11.8 second stop over Aaron Smith, 12.03. Jaden Hopp, 12.13. Brandon Mefford, 12.03 seconds. And William Tyndall, the 62, 12.47 in the pit box. Again, they were there long enough to get at least the right sides changed without costing them too much time, but it's just a matter of saving that set of tires for later on in the race. Don't want to burn them up now. Again, Aaron Smith hasn't won 10 out of the 15 races this season by being lucky. It's about being smart. Fast certainly helps. But with that, we're going to step aside here, get a quick break out of the way. We'll be back for the restart after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
R&R Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short. Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, pace car lights are out, getting ready for a green flag restart here in just a moment. You'll see the pace car make that hard left down pit lane and wait for Barney the flagman to wave the green once again, get us back underway.
Green flag.
Green is in the air. Brian McCann with the jump. Top four drivers just get fired out of the cannon here on the restart. McCann, Smith, Mefford, and Jaden Hopp. Your top four currently. Hopp battling with the 83. Mefford going around the outside. Got Ken Couch in the stream chat. What's going on, Ken? Watch the battle here at the top of the field. Here are the top three drivers now, McCann, Smith, and Mefford. Jaden Hopp there in fourth, not too far back. William Tyndall might cuck the top six. Just like that, what we've seen happen so many times at so many different racetracks this season in the IROC Challenger Series, Brian McCann and Aaron Smith slowly but surely starting to check out from the field and doing it against some very fast drivers. Brandon Mefford, Jaden Hopp, those guys especially, they're no slouches. Field working out of turn number two. It's still Brian McCann. And once again, fuel savings has begun. See it just about every week here in the IROC Challenger Series because of the fuel percentages that they're forced to use. Got to save fuel at some point during the race, and many of them are doing it at the end of their very first lap, let alone lap 41. It's a requirement. You've got to be able to save some fuel to make it to the finish on a prescribed number of pit stops. Battle again, Brandon Mefford and William Tyndall going at it. Mefford to the outside had a bit of an advantage, but now Tyndall fights back on the bottom. Oh, slides up the track, almost some contact. Still watching this fight between William Tyndall and Brandon Mefford. Mefford still hanging on the right rear of the 62. Mefford won't go away, still hanging there to the outside. You know Mefford wants to try and get clear of that 62, but Tyndall dives it to the bottom, and now Mefford's got to worry about the 88 of Jason Nilges. Nilges tucks in behind for a minute, a little loose on exit for the 88. Now the 62 closing the gap on the 4 of Jaden Hopp. This will be for the 3rd position. Nothing doing there, tucks in behind the 4. Interestingly, though, it seems that at least in this portion of the run, the field is starting to stick with the top 2 a little better than early on. Might have been more a result of more aggressive tire savings early on. As we see the battle here now switching things up here, Brandon Mefford trying to go to the bottom on the 62. Tyndall shuts the door, unable to get alongside. Vincent Short in the stream chat. What? McCann and Smith out front? Say it ain't so. It is an IROC race after all. You old school guys out there remember the IROC, meaning the International Race of Champions. I think after this season's done, you got to take the top 2 out of this series, top 2 out of another series, top 2 out of another series, and so on and so forth till you get about 12 or 16 guys. You can call it the International Race of Aliens. I don't know about the acronym, but you get it. About to put lap 50 up on the board. The top 6 still all together nice and tight. This is good to see. At first stage had me a bit worried. We know that McCann and Smith always have a lot of pace, but it just seems like these guys were trying to save a little more aggressively than everybody else because they've managed to keep pace with those top 2. Keep them all within striking distance. I'll get the words right one of these days. Tyndall just slides up in front of Brandon Mefford, pulls the slide job, tried it again to cut off the 83's run to the bottom side. That was close, almost contact between the 62 and the 83. Tyndall now looking to the bottom on Jaden Hopp. Jaden slams the door on the 62. Real slide, big time slide out of turn 2 for Brandon Mefford. He is not willing to give up. I think he's growing to be a bit frustrated here with the 62 of Tyndall. Aaron Smith's way up the racetrack. I don't know if that was a mistake or if he's just trying to change things up. Open the door for the 4 of Jaden Hopp. We've seen the right rear hung out pretty significantly on the 70 here for about a lap or so. I don't know if he's struggling with some tire temperature or handling issues. Nonetheless, he has certainly changed his line here at Las Vegas. Smith top of the racetrack. Jaden Hopp tucks back in behind, so the pace was there for the 70, taking that high lane. way up the racetrack, trying to get, man, look at that car, just sideways through the corner. Jaden Hopp gets alongside of Aaron Smith once again. Smith goes topside. And again, you just see that thing driving it in yaw. It's fast when you do that, but man, he's going to burn that right rear up, and it's just going to get worse. Then again, maybe that's why he's up top. Maybe it was too loose on the bottom. It's hard to say. Let's ride on board with Aaron Smith. Let's see how much he's turning to the right to make this thing turn left. Wheels pretty straight. Turn now right as center. He's driving this car with the throttle more than that steering wheel. Watch it again in turn 3. Little left turn to get her in. Right rear steps out. Counter steer. Big time counter steer. Man, oh man. And he's not lifting a whole lot either. He's just going to burn that right rear off. I'll tell you, there's not that many guys out in this field that can do that, though. That's impressive. That said, though, Jaden Hopp has taken over the second position. Aaron Smith now back to third. May fall into the clutches of William Tyndall here in just a moment. You just have to wonder how much tire temperature Aaron Smith put into his rubber. Running that high line, running it out that loose, driving it off the right rear. I mean, you kind of have to do that. You don't have to do it that aggressively. That was nuts. With that, we're going to take a chance here. We're going to go HBR TV side by side. Hopefully be back before a next round of green flag stops. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you saw it happen during the break. Tyndall taking the third spot from Aaron Smith. I don't think I've seen Aaron this far back in the pack at any point this season, short of maybe a pit cycle. We are past halfway, so we certainly don't want to count out the 70 just yet. Green flag pit stops likely to be coming soon. Here he comes, Aaron Smith, Neil Quick, Tyndall, all these drivers going to come down pit road. Do they get her woe down? Brian McCann as well. Jaden Hopp and Nile just stay out of the racetrack. See if McCann takes tires this time. I'm going to assume yes. Brian McCann in the pit box, right sides go in the air. So 14.62 seconds in the box for Brian McCann. Seems that everybody up and down pit road did the same, took their tires for the first time tonight as we were just past halfway. McCann gets out in front of Aaron Smith with Jason Nilgis, Jaden Hopp. They had stayed out on the racetrack. Hopp is in the box now. Ken Couch in the stream chat says, don't ever take two tires. Well, we've seen guys do it, and I can't necessarily say if I recall seeing it in this Gen 4 car. We've seen some guys gamble on two tires in the trucks, specifically guys like Drew Blaze, and they've made it pay. But sometimes taking two tires can completely make things worse. The handle goes away. It's extremely loose. We certainly don't want to make it any worse with this race car. Brian McCann has cycled back to the race lead. Aaron Smith must have done a wonderful job getting in and out of the pits because he's back to the second spot. Came in as the fourth place machine. Had a good stop, 14.77 seconds. Was an identical pit stop for William Tyndall, who currently runs in the third spot. The time difference really is the in and out. The overall pit lane time for Aaron Smith, 44 seconds, 0.12. So 44 and just a hair over a tenth. That includes the pit stop. Brian McCann was a 44.42 in his total pit lane time. Tyndall a 44.67, so that's where that leapfrog happened from Aaron Smith, taking it back from the 62. So much track position to be gained and lost, getting in and out of the pits. Guys like Brian McCann, Aaron Smith, even Zach Millett. Doesn't race in this series, but it's a name that if you're familiar with HBR TV, you know the name. Driver that's very good getting in and out of pit lane. Continue to watch the battle here. These four cars all grouped up together as the top two have gotten away. These four are flying in formation like F-16s out of turn number 2. Just outside of Nellis Air Force Base as they roll down the Nellis straightaway. Side by side now for the third spot. Jaden Hopp, Brandon Mefford. Mefford in the high lane, the number 83. Hopp down low, the white, green, and purple machine, number 4. Hopp has shown his abilities all season long. Unfortunately for him, he has not been able to knock off that 70 of Aaron Smith. Again, Aaron with 10 wins on the season to this point. Almost feel like Jaden Hopp has almost that many second place finishes. Continue to watch this fight here for that third position. Hop takes it for now. Effort might be falling into the clutches of Neil Quick here shortly. Not sure the situation with William Tyndall as he slipped back to P6 and is losing ground to this group. Meanwhile, back out front, Aaron Smith all over Brian McCann like a cheap suit into turn number 3. Maybe a car length between the 3 and the 70. Come off turn number 4, going to put lap 73 up on the board. Still plenty of racing to go. McCann still with the race lead. Smith's been right there, just a 10th, not even off the back bumper of McCann. This is very different than what we saw in that first stage where McCann was getting out to about a 0.3 of a second advantage, and Aaron Smith was perfectly content just riding there in those tire tracks. Now seemingly a little more aggressive, a little more up on the wheel. Continue to watch this 1 and 2 battle here. Jaden Hopp has separated himself from Brandon Mefford and is slowly but surely starting to reel in the top 2. Again, there will be one more pit stop, I believe, before this one's all said and done. So Ken Couch in the stream chat again says, I took 2 tires last year with the next gen car. Finished second in front of Blaze here at Vegas. But it bit me last night in these cars. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, these cars are loose enough to begin with. A lot of times if you leave the left sides worn out, put right sides on it, it turns just too well. You've got all that pressure on the right front, that new front tire. Add the extra power these new Gen 4 Cup cars have. It's almost undrivable. Ken, if you would, let us know if that was the case. I mean, in my experience, putting right sides only on in a car that tends to be loose, it tends to make it worse. I was curious if that's what you experienced. Neil Quick up into the top 5 now. Having a strong run, a very calculating afternoon for the 2 of Neil Quick as he runs in front of Brandon Mefford. And Tyndall way back in P6. Certainly not having the pace that he had early on. Maybe the track's starting to change slightly. Temperature really hasn't changed too much, down to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp is a little bit cooler, but again, not by a lot. 97 degrees Fahrenheit here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That's actually pretty cool considering. So there's Ken Couch filling us in here in the stream chat once again. Says it was so loose I had to coast through the corners. It was so sideways down the front straight. I assume you're talking about that was here in Vegas, or if that was Atlanta, I'm not sure. Nonetheless, point made. Let's check on the 55 of Jeff No. Remember, the first stage of this race, him and Chris Wally were battling it out to stay on the lead lap. The leaders let them go. His caution was late to come out, but nonetheless, Brian McCann and Aaron Smith eased off the throttle, let those two stay on the lead lap. And Jeff No, well, he's running inside the top 10 now in the 7th position. Putting together a good race. Ken Couch says Atlanta. That does make more sense. Chris Wally also has managed to stay on the lead lap after that first stage, and he's worked his way back up into the top 12. Wally started 10th, still got some spots he could make up here. Remember, pit stops coming about 20 laps ago. We should expect to see these drivers make their final pit stop, I would say, within the next 10 to 12 laps. I can't imagine they're going to go too terribly long. You may see some drivers stay out a little bit later than they have to, just to get that extra fuel into the fuel cell in case we have a green-white checkered finish to contend with. But again, knocking on wood here, 84 laps in, we've only had the one caution, and that was for our stage break. No cautions for cause. And again, please, let's do it with me. Let's knock on wood here so we don't cause a problem. Back out front, Brian McCann no longer having the 70 of Aaron Smith filling up his rearview mirror, though he's still there in hot pursuit. About a quarter of a second back, one small mistake out of McCann, and I think Smith's going to be there. But if we saw it happening, how it happened in the second run here after our break, you remember Aaron Smith, as the tires got worn and got hot, he lost a bit of pace. The handling went away. He had to jump up the top of the racetrack, run that high line by the wall. Was very loose for a handful of laps, just trying to keep it underneath him. Slipped back to the 4th position before pit stops. We'll see if that happens again here. But as it stands right now, McCann seemingly the dominant car here. We've seen that happen before as well, though, where the 3 of McCann has dominated a race. When it comes down to the final 15, 20 laps, the final stop, what have you, Aaron Smith somehow pulls a rabbit out of his hat. Manages to take the win. First taker on pit road, Mike Cook in the 00. I don't know if this was a planned pit stop or if it was trying to fix some of the right side damage he has on that machine. Lap 88 goes up on the board. Again, pit stops coming soon, so don't go anywhere. Neither will we. We'll stay here for this round of green flag stops before we see another commercial, unless caution comes out first. Jaden Hopp still reeling in these top 2, just laying laps down, lap after lap after lap. In fact, the last lap for Jaden Hopp, a 31.72. He was the fastest car on the racetrack. Not by a lot, but still faster than even the race leader, Brian McCann, by about 0.04 of a second. Just about a full 10th faster than Aaron Smith. Chris Wally in the pits. Again, this is not a surprise. This is just about where we're expecting to start to see drivers come down and make this final pit stop of the race. Should be good to go all the way to the finish. Again, we don't know if they're going to be able to make it if there's a green, white checkered or NASCAR overtime for that matter, but the way this race is gone, you got to hedge your bets. We are at Vegas after all. gamble a little bit, pit now, get the fresh tires, try to make up some track position, try to work the undercut on the rest of the field. Once again, let's talk about it. I know we've got some veteran race fans in here that know what that means, that know what undercut means. But there might be some that don't, and hopefully there's some that don't, because, well, I'm going to explain it again. I feel like I do this every week, but that's okay. Fox and NBC can do it, so can I. So the undercut. Be the first driver to pit last. Okay, we've talked about that with road racing. It's very common and a very popular strategy in road racing. Be the first driver to come down pit road for your final stop. That way everybody else has to do it after you do. The reason that's an advantage, especially on tracks that are notorious for tune-up tires. Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old version for certain, of course, Darlington. Las Vegas Motor Speedway starting to show some age as well, as there's a bit of fall off here. We're almost a second and a half of fall off. You take that opportunity as Brian McCann's going to pull down pit lane, and Aaron Smith's going to try and go with him. That was close, and Aaron Smith's locking him up, trying to get her woed down. Hold that thought, folks. The leaders are in pit lane here. Aaron Smith makes the pass for the race lead as they get to pit lane. I'm just curious if they got slowed down in time. Aaron Smith had to lock him up pretty aggressively, and it seemed like a last-minute decision when he saw Brian McCann pulling off the racetrack. Right sides for McCann for sure, right sides for Aaron Smith. 4 tires in fuel for Aaron Smith, 4 tires in fuel for Brian McCann. Drops the jack, waiting on fuel. Oh no, Brian McCann, too fast entering. We talked about this early on, how something usually happens here when he's so dominant. A very simple mistake, a rare mistake. I don't recall the last time I've seen Brian McCann get a speeding penalty on pit entry. I'm sure it's happened, but it doesn't happen often. Brian McCann's chances of winning this race have gone out the window. Aaron Smith back on the racetrack with the race lead here as Brian McCann just now leaving pit lane. Not even, he's still in the pits. 14:75 was the pit stop. 54:75 was how long he spent in the box. Again, a 40-second penalty. Too fast entering. I would have bet my life it would have been the 70 of Aaron Smith that got popped, but not the case. He got in clean. So, Jason Nile just now with a race lead. Aaron Smith in the second spot. Nile just is in pit lane, so Smith's going to cycle back to the race lead. Man, that's a tough break for Brian McCann. Thought he had an opportunity here. Really did. He was fast. Won last night at Atlanta in the No Bull Racing Series. Looking to make it 2 days in a row, but it's not to be. So now it's Aaron Smith and Jaden Hopp. Hopp in the second spot, 1.3 seconds back. You just got to shake your head. If you're Brian McCann, he's got to be punching the steering wheel. With that 25 laps to go, we're going to take our final HBR TV side-by-side break. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 18 laps to go. Aaron Smith still with the race lead, but look who's coming. The 4 of Jaden Hopp is there. Maybe a car length and a half, maybe 2. Quarter a second if you're going to be specific. Coming to 17 laps to go. Jaden Hopp has closed the gap. Can the 4 of Jaden Hopp finally break the streak of second place finishes and take the race win away from Aaron Smith? Prevent the 70 from getting yet an 11th win on this season. Last lap for both drivers, a 30.82 for both of them. Identical lap times and very close this time. 30.95 out of Aaron Smith and 30.94 out of Jaden Hopp. $16 laps to go. It's Aaron Smith, your race leader. Jaden Hopp running second. Brandon Mefford back in the 3rd position. Matt Kopp running in 13th there, just behind. Not on the lead lap. Neil Quick, your 4th place machine. William Tyndall back in the 5th spot. Jeff Noe continuing to have a decent afternoon here up into the 6th position, even though he does have a little bit of right front damage. Battle here for the 8th position. Josh Funkhauser and Rick Kelly. Funkhauser gets clear of the 31. Mike McDonald pressuring. Jerry Krause makes a good point in the stream chat. Says win or second. He's making Smith work for it. That's the truth. Jerry Krause, and either way, good race as always. These IROC guys put on a good show. I will say these races that go green to checker without any issues, that's great. It shows the talent level of the drivers in this series, but I'll be honest, it does make for a difficult race to call, especially when everybody gets spread apart. Luckily, these top 2, only a couple of tenths between them, and Aaron Smith closing in on some lap traffic. Next up, Mike McDonald and Rick Kelly. They're battling for position, though. They're not going to be super focused on letting these leaders get by. They're trying to fight for their own positions. McDonald goes up the racetrack, though, makes it relatively easy, at least for Aaron Smith. We'll see how this plays out here. Exit 2, worst possible scenario for Hopp, but McDonald dives it down low. I don't know if Hopp had already lifted. Back out front, Aaron Smith coming to 10 laps to go. He's gotten a bit of an advantage now over the 4 of Hopp. It's almost 4 tenths. Aaron Smith only a half tenth quicker the last lap. This time by, is it any better? Still about the same. A 31.45 for Smith, a 31.51 for Jaden Hopp. Aaron Smith now closing in on Rick Kelly and the 5 of Trevor Quick. These drivers about to go a lap down, but battling for position themselves. Smith goes way up the racetrack. Seeing more of the same here late in the run. Remember that run in the midsection of the race where Aaron Smith decided to run a handful of laps on the top side. 30 degrees sideways just about every corner. Might have to revert to that again just to get around some of this lap traffic because Jaden Hopp is closed back in. He's cut that 4 tenths of a second deficit just about in half. It's Aaron Smith still trying to find a way these slower cars. Jaden Hop to the inside. Just taking a peek, nothing doing yet. Jaden Hop taking a look once again. Running out of time though. It's going to be 7 laps to go this time by. Jaden Hop is there. 10th and a half off the back bumper of Aaron Smith as they come out of turn number 4. Back to the stripe. 7 laps to go. Hop down low again, a little further alongside. Less than a 10th. Oh, we got a smoker. Trevor Quick up into turn 3. Do we get a yellow?
Caution's out.
And we do. Caution is on the speedway for the 5 of Trevor Quick. Might have been battling with Rick Kelly and maybe some contact, but with 6 laps to go, we are under caution for the first time for cause. Well, this changes everything. Well, let's get a look at it, see what happened here to the 5. We caught the tail end of it. It took a little while for the yellow to come out because he seemed to be okay, but he bounces off that inside wall. So this is down the Nellis straightaway into turn number 3. The 5's just in behind Josh Funkhauser. I think he's going to dive to the bottom, or is Kelly coming up? Oh, Kelly comes up. I don't know the intent there for changing lanes, but he certainly gets into the left rear of Trevor Quick and sends him down the racetrack. Pretty big impact there to the inside wall, and it shoots the 5 back up the racetrack into the banking. He had her locked down pretty hard, but unfortunately still slides up in front of traffic, and that's what triggers the yellow flag. So I think this is their first pass around pit lane, and I don't think anybody took the opportunity. Don't think anybody saved a set of tires. I know we talked about that being an option, and a lot of those drivers, well, throwing caution to the wind, I guess you could say, since we weren't getting any cautions in this race. At least that's how it was seemingly going. Now we got ourselves an old shootout. So Lindsay says, oh wow, my heart rate was lower yesterday, and that was high. Nothing against Aaron Smith, but I'd love to see the 4 finally get that win this season. Kid's got the talent, that's for sure. It's got me taking deep breaths here, just watching the stream chat. Lindsay says, I love them both. This is tough. Both great drivers and people. Jerry Krause says, yes, I agree. The 4 for the win. You got this, kid. Ken Couch says, this will be good. I guess the question is, again, they're going to restart here on pretty much the oldest tires they can even think about in this race. They don't have any sets left over the wall, I don't believe. I think they would have taken them at this point. But the question is going to be, who can fire off here without making a mistake? Who can fire off without spinning the tires? As you can watch the 70 there in the outside lane. He's hammering the throttle, trying to get those rear tires warm and clean And he was smart, too. He was doing it right in the area where he's likely to fire off the next time by. I don't know how much of an effect that truly has in iRacing, but at least in the real world, it's a very practical and smart way of doing it. If you know exactly about where you're going to fire, obviously you're not telling your competition where you're going to fire from, but it's like drag racing almost. You do a burnout, gets heat in the tires, gets them cleaned off, but it also puts a little bit of heat and grip in the racing surface itself. In this case, it could be clearing off a little bit of tire debris that could be in the racing lane that you're going to restart from. We've seen some guys, even in the real world at some tracks, maybe opt for the low lane because there's more grip. It may not necessarily be the preferred place, but maybe they're spinning the tires on the restarts in the outside. Each track is different, of course, but Aaron Smith not taking any chances here, making sure those tires were cleaned off. Hopefully we don't have anybody spin the tires here. You know, cautions breed cautions, and we've got these cars all bunched back up here, getting ready for a restart once again. Pace car makes the hard left down pit road.
Be ready, green flag.
Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go. William Tyndall getting to the outside of Jaden Hopp for a brief moment through 1 and 2. Aaron Smith gets out to about a quarter-second advantage off turn number 2. Tyndall with a big run, takes a look to the inside, crosses over in front of the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Now alongside Jaden Hopp into 3 and 4. This for the second position. Jaden's not going to be able to track down Aaron Smith. He's fighting for that second spot. Back at the line, white flag in the air, final lap for Aaron Smith. The battle continues here for the second spot. Finally clear is the 4. Hopp up the racetrack just a bit, trying to build a run out of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway for the final time. A quarter of a second between Aaron Smith and Jaden Hopp. Into turns 3 and 4. Just need to be clean exit for the 70. And for the 11th time this season, checkered flag waves for Aaron Smith here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Jaden Hopp, a bridesmaid once again. Third place finisher goes to the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Aaron Smith, your race winner here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 11 wins now on the season for the 70 of Aaron Smith. This guy is just untouchable. Aaron Smith parks it here at start finish after another race win here in the IROC Challenge Series. We're going to jump out and get our final break out of the way. Be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the IROC Challenge Series, round number 15 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. In the books, Aaron Smith, to no one's surprise, takes the checkered flag for a 11th time of the season. Let's pull the driver of the number 70 up into the broadcast booth and get a word with our race winner. Aaron Smith, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got me?
Yeah, I've got you.
Well, it's seemingly becoming a routine thing between you and I here, interviewing you with a race win at the end of one of these races, your 11th victory on the season. Let's back things up, though. A rather dominant performance by Brian McCann here tonight. A pit road speeding violation on that final stop cost him big time. Did you have anything for Brian if you guys were able to leave pit road at the same time?
Yeah, I feel like I did, but it would have taken a bit of an advantage for me to really get that jump on him. That's why I threw it to the inside so hard there coming to the pits, but I didn't realize he was running out of fuel there, so it's a shame that I played a little bit of a factor in getting him that speeding penalty, but made things a little easier. Jaden made things pretty difficult there at the end too, but I don't expect anything less.
So with that pit stop, though, I want to ask, because it almost seemed like a very late decision on your part. Was that a bit of an audible on your end there as McCann made his pit stop, or were you planning to come right then and there anyway?
Yeah, I was planning on it anyway. I had about half a lap of fuel left leading into the pit, so I wouldn't have been able to make it on another lap anyway. I just wanted to see if he would leave me enough space on the outside for me to chuck it there and make it through the cone. But fortunately, there was enough room, but unfortunately, it kind of changed the outcome of the race. So that was unfortunate, but it was a fun race up until then.
Well, that's why we run these things. You can't predict a victor until that checkered flag actually waves, and you take it here once again, Aaron. Congratulations on the race win. The 11th of the season here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next week, we go to the great equalizer, Daytona International Speedway. Still a place that we've seen you be fast at. What are your feelings about, well, I guess you could call it restrictor plate racing with this old Gen 4 car next week at Daytona?
Yeah, I did pretty well there last time, so hopefully it'll play out the same way. Maybe I'll be the only one coming out of turn 4 there at the end, and maybe I'll talk to you again.
That's all we can do. Aaron, congratulations once again, man. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
As always, I'd like to thank all the folks at the IROC Challenge for putting this show on, and all the lap cars for wrecking to the inside, not the outside where I was there at the end. And I'd like to thank all the folks for watching, and I'm looking forward to getting back at it at Daytona next week. Hopefully I'll be able to take home another win.
All right, Aaron. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
Aaron Smith, your race winner here from Vegas. We're going to pull Jaden Hopp, the number 4, up into the broadcast booth for another runner-up victory, a runner-up interview. Once again, Jaden, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a solid copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Jaden, I feel like this is becoming a bad habit. Runner-up finish here behind Aaron Smith once again. An awesome run. You made him work for it. That seems to be the conversation every time we talk about you and him here in the stream chat, is you're not making it easy on him by any means, but once again, a bridesmaid here finishing in the 2nd spot. Tell us about your race. Was there anything you could have done to pass Aaron there in the last couple of laps?
I think I needed the lap cars a little bit more. He was just a touch faster than me, so those lap cars were a big help. Didn't really want them to wreck, though, because that kind of sealed my fate.
Yeah, with that late caution coming out, it seemed like you were starting to close the ground on Aaron Smith. We'll just have to wonder what would have been. But let's go back to that final restart. With that caution coming out late, it seemed that the 62 of Tyndall got to your inside there. A bit of a battle for a little while. It didn't take too long before you got clear. But how badly did that hurt you in your efforts to try and catch and then pass the 70?
I'd say it hurt maybe a little bit, along with the tire spin on the restart, but I don't think I would have got to him anyway, because, you know, the control car is like so powerful because you know you can get the jump and just run away with it. So I don't think I would have caught him anyway.
Well, nonetheless, a second place finish, certainly nothing to be too disappointed about. I know if you're Kyle Busch, he certainly doesn't like it, but still a strong run. You've certainly shown your worth here in this series. It's good to see it. There's still a couple more races left. Speaking of which, next week we're out at Daytona International Speedway, the great equalizer, as we said to Aaron early in his interview. How do you feel about your chances drafting next week? You're going to need to find some dancing partners to make that one work.
I'd say I feel decently confident. I'm usually all pretty good on the stricter plate tracks as long as I, don't get wrecked. So, I don't know, just hope for another decent day.
Taking care of the car is key. Once again, Jaden, congratulations on a runner-up finish here at Vegas. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I'd like to shout out you guys for putting on the broadcast each week. It's fun to go back and watch, and my family, mom, grandma, uncles for watching each week too.
All right, Jaden. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Wish you the best of luck next week down in Daytona Beach.
Thank you.
Jaden Hopp, your runner-up here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to Brandon Mefford, the driver of the number 83 IROC veteran here. Let's see what he has to say about his third-place finish. Brandon Mefford, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got us?
I got you, Steve.
Brandon, congratulations, man. A solid run here tonight. It was fun watching you guys battle it out throughout the course of this race. You come home with the third-place finish. Started fourth. Walk us through your race. Was there anything you had for Aaron Smith or Jaden Hopp? It seemed like you had some pace there early on.
Yeah, the guys are really good at saving fuel and still being fast, so I hadn't get that figured out very well, so I could run with them early on, but as I went on, while we're trying to save fuel that first stint, they just pulled away. And then, the green flag stops. Those guys really hit their pit stops. They're really good off of pit road. I probably had one of my best pit stops in this car ever, and that guy still pulled me by 2 or 3 seconds, so again, they're just really good. I think Brian would have been right up there with him had he not had his troubles. But I just, again, try to stay out of trouble, try to save them tires and have something for them there at the end. That last run, I was hoping for that caution late like we got. I was starting to save some tires there that last run for a go at them. And I'll be honest, I think I had a car to get it done, but we didn't have enough laps. And starting on the outside there, having to battle this 62, it really killed my efforts there.
Well, certainly a strong run. Nevertheless, again, it's a top 3 finish. A little bit of momentum carried into Daytona Beach next week's going to be restrictor plate racing. How do you feel about your chances out there next week down in Florida? Is it a matter of just survival, or do you got a good shot at this next week?
Man, I'll tell you what, I don't even know what to do on super speedways. I try to race up front. We get wrecked. Stay out back, we still end up in a mess. So I don't know what the secret is. I guess we'll just go out there, try to stay out of trouble, and hopefully we got somebody to push or someone to help push us to the front there.
Certainly all you can do, Brandon. Again, congratulations. A solid run here tonight at Vegas. We wish you the best of luck next week. Who do you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, Steve, I'd like to thank you for the broadcast. Spartan Transportation, 5-Star Graphics, R&R Racewear, all the guys over here at the IROC League, they do a great job, put on another great show. So thanks to all the drivers, thanks to everybody that helps put this together. Thanks to my Charity Motorsports teammates. I think it was just me and Matt in there tonight. Matt had a decent run going. He's growing a lot, and I'm proud of him for that. So, and then thanks to my family for allowing me to take time in the evenings to do this, and let me have some fun and get away from real life. So that's about it.
That's all you can do, Brandon. Again, nice run tonight. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
See you, Steve.
It's Brandon Mefford, your third-place finisher here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That's going to do it for our interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's get to the results. Of course, Aaron Smith, your race winner. Jaden Hopp was second. Brandon Mefford comes home in the third position. Fourth-place finisher was William Tyndall. Fifth went to Neil Quick. Sixth-place finisher Jason Nilges. Seventh was Jeff No after a good recovery, almost going down a lap early, finishes in the top 10. Josh Funkhauser showed some promise here tonight as well, finishing 8th. John Osborne, a good recovery, back to the 9th spot. Chris Wally, a solid top 10. He started 10th, he finished 10th. As long as you don't lose, that's a good thing. Rick Kelly was 11th. Brian McCann, a disappointing P12, 1 lap down after his pit speeding penalty. Matt Kopp was 13th. Michael McDonald, 14th. Trevor Quick was 15th. 16th place finisher was Josh Braley. Mike Cook was 17th. And Cook Quick finishes 18th, 74 laps down. Gotta thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Certainly appreciate your participation within the stream chat. That is always more than welcome. Again, it really makes my job easier, especially some of these races that get a little long-winded after a time. That can become an issue. But your guys jumping into the stream chat, it does help. Obviously, fuel mileage races, sometimes there's a little bit of a lull period, so we do appreciate you being here each and every single week. You are just as much a part of the broadcast as the racing drivers here on the Speedway. They put on the show, but you guys add a little bit of extra flavor to it, so we do appreciate that. If you haven't already done so, please like the stream. YouTube.com/@HBRTV1 is the channel's link. And then find tonight's race. If you're not still watching it, jump in there, click the like button. It's free to do, and it helps us immensely. And if you don't mind, too, check us out on the website, hbrtv1.com. We try to get the live links up there on a regular basis as well. We're not perfect. I'm a one-man show over here most of the time, so I don't always get to that, but we do appreciate the traffic there as well. We are off tomorrow night for Halloween. No Numb Thumbs Racing. We'll be back running those races next week on Wednesday, but we'll be back here for the No Bull Racing Series. Actually, backing up a little further, Thursday will be the LSR Truck Series. Then Sunday, back to No Bull, about 8 p.m. in the East. And then Monday, more IROC. And then Tuesday, next week, more Numb Thumbs Racing. Of course, we're off on Wednesdays, at least for the time being, and then, well, back to LSR the following Thursday. So plenty of racing action here at HBR TV for you guys to enjoy if you so choose to do so. So with that, again, thank you all for watching. Congratulations to Aaron Smith on his unprecedented 11th win of the season. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.